Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. I made a mistake when I set this live stream up, which was this morning. Hold on a second. I had it on unlisted and I never put it on published, and I should have had it on published. So that was my mistake. So it was pretty crazy out there in California. And I have a video I'm going to show you, not only of the farm, but there was even some madness going on in San Francisco. And towards the end, you're going to see other parts of California where things got kind of crazy, the last two videos. So it was a pretty volatile day out in California when it comes down to ICE and grabbing up these illegals. And this is going to be a madhouse from here on out until Donald Trump is done with his term. And y'all know he's trying to stay in. He doesn't want to leave power. He wants to stay in, which is that in itself is going to be crazy to see him attempt to stay when it's really technically time for him to go. I don't know why his old decrepit butt wants to do stuff like that. He is an elderly man. How much fighting can he really do? It's ridiculous. So I'm going to give people a little more time to come in since I kind of sprung this up on everybody. So I'm going to play a song and then I'll come back and we'll get started. So it's just to give people some more time to come in. Okay. Hold on. All right. This one I did not change the avatar on. I just got to get a chance to change it. So, but here we go. Make sure you can see it.
I was walking through a valley, shadows all around. No life in the bones, just silence on the ground. I was walking through a valley, shadows all around. No life in the bones, just silence on the ground. You said, son of man, can these bones live? I looked in your eyes, said only you can give. You take prophecy to the wind, speak to the breath, let the spirit begin. I opened my mouth, felt your fire in my chest. Now these dry bones about to rise and be blessed. Oh, breathe on me, out from the four winds. Wrap my soul in love, call these bones to live again. Put your spirit in me and I will rise. In the valley of dry bones, you made me alive. You whisper like thunder, woke the dream in me. Took my ashes, turned them into prophecy. You stitched me together with sinews and grace. Put rhythm in my heart, now I dance in this place. You said speak to the hopeless, let them know I see. Tell them I'm the one who sets captives free. So I lift my voice with this holy groove. Even dry bones start to move. Breathe on me, out from the four winds. Fill my soul with fire, bring these dead dreams back again. You gave me a name, you gave me a tribe. In the valley of dry bones, I came alive. You took my head shot, My empty shell turned my heartbreak into a story to tell. Now every bone, every scar, every tear is a testimony that you're still near. We were scattered, broken, and cast aside, but you called us chosen. Oh yes, we rise. Breathe on us, yeah, from the four winds. Cover this nation with mercy again. We are army, hear your call. In the valley of dry bones, we stand
All right, y'all. I am going to get started so that you can see what happened out in California. Screen again. Okay. Please give me a 1 if you can see the screen. If you can see my screen, give me a 1. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Tense confrontation between protesters and federal agents there who appear to have been carrying out a large-scale immigration enforcement. This is about 50 miles northwest of Los Angeles, and at one point, federal agents were seen throwing smoke canisters towards the protesters, sending the crowd running in the opposite direction. Now, just to orient you again, about 50 miles northwest of LA. This is just outside of Oxnard, California. For those of you familiar, some protesters were seen holding flags, appearing to poke military vehicles that were passing by. At least one person has been arrested and another was seen pinned to the ground. We'll continue to bring you updates when we have them.
Good evening. It is great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. We do begin tonight with breaking news, a major immigration raid unfolding, masked federal agents raiding 2 California farms just north of Los Angeles at this hour, clashing with protesters who quickly gathered, men lined up against a wall under heavy guard. The dramatic images coming in at this hour, scores of agents on the road between 2 fields, tossing smoke canisters toward the crowd. The chaotic scene on the ground, flashbangs heard from our reporter right there on the scene. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky leading us off on these raids now underway tonight.
Tonight, a dramatic scene northwest of Los Angeles. Protesters clashing with masked federal agents conducting immigration raids at a cannabis farm in Ventura County.
They have a lot of personnel. I think there's like almost 100 people down there. Yeah, they got K9 and everything.
Crowds quickly gathering.
Oh my God!
The federal agents setting off smoke canisters and irritants to disperse them.
Right now, they're popping off tear gas canisters, and folks are just running like crazy, and it's just chaos out here. I'm going to have to get out of the way, folks.
Dozens of men lined against the wall, heavily armed agents standing guard. At least one person is seen kneeling on the ground, seemingly under arrest. Another large-scale immigration raid in nearby Santa Barbara County targeted a second cannabis farm owned by the same company. Last week, President Trump told a crowd in Iowa there would be carve-outs to allow farmers to vouch for their workers.
Because we don't want to do it where we take all of the workers off the farms. We want the farms to do great like they're doing right now.
This week, the Secretary of Agriculture said there would be no amnesty for any farm workers.
So no amnesty under any circumstances. Mass deportations continue, but in a strategic and intentional way as we move our workforce toward more automation and toward a 100% American workforce.
Tonight, Border Czar Tom Homan saying the administration is still talking about farm workers.
I can tell you that there's a lot of people talking in here. Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture, Department of Homeland Security, talking about options. Nothing's been settled.
Okay. Y'all, I got to tell you this. They're going to let them all go. There were some farms that requested that they keep their undocumented workers because if they don't, their farms will collapse. Well, they were denied. And let me tell you why they were denied. Because of the cuts to Medicaid, people are going to be required to work at least 80 hours a month in order to keep their Medicaid. All right. So, where do you think those folks are going to go that are on Medicaid? They can no longer just have Medicaid. They got to work for it at least 80 hours a month. That's where those folks are going to go. The people that want to keep Medicaid is going to have to work the farms, y'all. That's why they said they're going to have American workers out there. That's how Donald Trump is going to do it. So if you are a person and you are on Medicaid, if you want to keep your Medicaid, you're going to have to work 80 hours a month. So they're just going to have people out there at different times for their 80 hours. That way the farms are always worked. But yes, that's how they're going to get the American people out there. So it'll be low income people. So let me go ahead and continue on.
Kind of immigration enforcement is not only drawing crowds like we're seeing tonight, David. Online, there are calls for violence with the goal of trying to stop these raids. David?
Aaron Katersky leading us off tonight. Aaron, thank you.
This is happening at Wood and Laguna, and you now see the military vehicles advancing despite those protesters trying to make a stance and trying to stop the military vehicle from continuing on. And there's cameras rolling, cell phone cameras rolling. And this group of people are really trying to get this military vehicle to stop, and it doesn't appear that it will. It is continuing to push.
And that supporter was not really met with a lot of other support. You see him basically being, have some water, look like dumped on him, and being taunted. More water thrown. People waving a Mexican flag in his face as they walk through America. And
they wanted to get him out of here.
The guy punched.
Yeah, no,
wow.
It got nasty. It got nasty. We followed it for a while because we wanted to keep an eye on him. He was by himself.
Wow.
And he, I didn't see the beginning of it, but I did see when people started talking back to him, and he started trying to make it to his car. And as you can see, it got quite nasty. At one point, people were going after him. Now, I have to say that's the only person like that we have seen here. And he did make it to his car. Near the end, people were saying, let him go, let him go. We don't want to hurt somebody. We don't want to be seen like this. So even within the protesters, there's that dissent of, don't get violent, don't overdo it. But definitely, when it is hot like it is today, when people are tired, things are going to happen. But the man did get in his car and he did drive away. That we did see. But after being forcefully pushed out of here, very forcefully.
Have you seen this? Watch till the end. ICE raids in 2 different parts of California in 2 different farm fields.
A lot of tear gas and whatever this green smoke is as well. And a protester threw something toward the ICE officers there, but a lot of cars turning around and exiting. So it looks like something happened that forced that crowd to turn and run.
Welcome to the USA. Who's going to be working all those fields? Oh, people on Medicaid. They've already said it. And you know, ICE detention centers, they're for profit. They're probably going to put all these people to work as well. That's my opinion, but that's what it's looking like. And not pay them. Just watch.
This has been playing out for most of the day.
And our breaking team coverage continues with KTLA's Alina Abovian live from the front lines where those roads are blocked off. Alina, what is the latest situation there?
Cher, take a look behind me. You can see the situation continues to be very intense out here. Now, as Gil mentioned, Laguna is a very long stretch. We're here at Wood and Laguna, and this is where deputies with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department arrived in order to conduct crowd control, in order to open up traffic here. They are not here in order to assist with these raids. We do apologize. Some people who are here are yelling out profanity and they are putting their middle finger up. We do apologize for that, but just a warning, it is happening out here. So they came here to perform crowd control and to open up traffic because the protesters were closing off the street, not allowing the National Guard to pass through, and also not allowing people who live in this area to pass through. They have left their cars unattended and just closing off the streets here. So just want to clarify that these local law enforcement deputies, they are not here to assist in the raid. They are simply here to assist in the situation in terms of crowd control. Now, we have about several dozen of these deputies here, and they are facing off with an equal number of protesters. Meredith, if we just pan over to this side, we can show the situation. They have their flags up. They are yelling things at these deputies. They are trying to get a rise out of them. And again, if you do see profanity on some of their signs, I apologize for that. But they're trying to get attention. They're trying to get their voices heard. They are against these raids, and they're very passionate. They're very angry, and they keep showing up. At first, when we got here, we had several dozen protesters, but now easily over 100 protesters, growing in number. We're told that they found out about this on social media. When this happened, it was around 11:30 this morning. Several videos got posted online, and they just showed up in mass numbers in order to show their presence, to show their lack of support, rather, for these raids happening. Now, as far as the actual raid itself, take a look at this video. This is from earlier today. All of this happening here in Camarillo. And you can see this is video of a boy running on the phone, calling someone, crying, saying that his mother was taken away by federal agents, Border Patrol agents out here for this raid. Farm workers, protesters by the dozens facing off with them. This all started around 11:30 this morning. It was at the Glass House facility, we're told, a marijuana grow house located at 645 Laguna Road in Camarillo, to conduct a federal enforcement operation. It's unclear how many people exactly were taken into custody. We're hearing possibly around 30 people. And Rick, you asked earlier, any reports of anyone seriously injured? We have not heard that. I personally did see a few people with some bumps and some bruises, some cuts because of the tear gas that was deployed, and also from the commotion out here, people running to get away from things. So I did not personally see anyone with any major injuries out here, but according to local law enforcement, they did at some point call this a mass casualty situation.
Initially, we were told that they were going after criminals, but we're not seeing that anymore. Now they're going after good, hardworking families. Many of them have been here 15, 20 years, and these detentions are leading to broken homes. We have heard of single moms being arrested, or fathers being arrested, leaving behind kids with a babysitter. How do you reunify a family? And then the burden of the breadwinner who's been arrested now falls upon a teenager.
Now back out here live. At this point, there's no word on when this will wrap up. It's been going on and growing for the last few hours. So my guess is that this is going to continue well into the night. But again, we do have local law enforcement presence out here, deputies with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department assisting with crowd control, and for the most part, keeping this area open and the roads unblocked. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Protesters block the courthouse doors as ICE agents attempt to remove a man they've detained inside. A man, we're told, who had just appeared for a routine immigration hearing. They forced their way through the protesters and pushed the man they're detaining into a van. But the crowd moves with them, including several protesters who threw themselves on the hood of the moving van. As some agents climbed into vehicles, others walked from one courthouse to another, with protesters following step for step. As agents reach the second building, another confrontation, including an agent throwing a man to the ground, and then a gray sedan pulls up. The crowd dispersed after that federal officer stepped out carrying what appears to be an assault rifle. A man who has been operating an information table for migrants outside the courthouse describes the chaos.
You could just see the ICE guys going wild with the batons and like pushing through the crowd, grabbing people's bikes and using them to hit people and stuff.
That happened in San Francisco, one of the most liberal places in America. Mind you, this is before all of the ICE hires are going to hit with the budget increase. Real question is, what the hell is America going to look like in 6 to 12 months when we have more ICE agents and more people in the streets protesting that? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you follow me for more news updates like this.
Okay, let me tell y'all something. Because some of y'all put in there that, oh, well, the marijuana, this place will pay more. No, they won't. Listen to me now. Listen very clearly. People on Medicaid are going to be required to work the farms. Listen, for no pay. You're not getting paid for your labor, because the way Donald Trump sees it, you're getting Medicaid and you're not paying for that. So your labor is free. Do y'all get it? If you're on Medicaid and you're able to work the fields, you are not getting paid. Do you understand? You are not getting any money, but you're going to work the 80 hours in order to keep your Medicaid. That is the plan. You're going to be free labor out there in them fields. That's why that's why they said they're not going to give any of the farm workers amnesty. Some of the farmers requested to keep their undocumented workers and give them amnesty so that they can become citizens. Well, Donald Trump said no. He don't want to give them amnesty. They're going to use American workers. And what they mean are people on Medicaid. So if you got Medicaid, you're going to be out there in them farms or anywhere they need you, and you're going to work those 80 hours free of charge in order to keep your Medicaid. There is no pay. There is no pay. So they can make you work the fields. They could put you in an ICE detention center to work. But wherever they put you, you're working for free. That is what they want. That's what they intend to do. So, yes, so all of these farms are going to be raided, and they're going to get rid of every single farm worker because the Medicaid people are now coming. Yeah, I mean, look, this is what Donald Trump did. What do you think that big, beautiful bill was all about? It's about, putting people back for another slavery. No pay. Mhm. So that was part of what the big beautiful bill was all about. Well, it is to the wealthy because again, they're getting labor they don't have to pay for. So it is a big beautiful bill for 1% of the population. It is to them. And you're right. There's a lot of people that are on Medicaid because of, they may have handicaps or certain illnesses. Some babies are born with a handicap, and so they go on Medicaid. So, yeah, physically, everybody can't be out there. Yeah, some of the people on Medicaid can do it, but all of them, no, no. There are some that absolutely are not physically able to be out there and work. Absolutely not. No, they're not going after people on Medicare because Medicare, in some instances, especially if you got like Medicare Advantage, you're paying for that because it's paid for. Remember, you get that deducted out of your pay. And because it's paid for, they're not going to really, what can they really do with a bunch of elders out there? You got to be a senior in order to get Medicaid. So they're not going to make the seniors go out there. So you're pretty safe if you're on Medicare. They're not going to make you go out there and work. But if you're on Medicaid, that's a whole different story. hmm Well, Donald Trump think he got the perfect policy here. He think he got the perfect policy. hmm hmm Well, we'll see how it works. I mean, we'll see if they really do have Americans out there like they want. That's why Christy Nome said, they're going to have all Americans out there working. So these undocumented workers, they got to go because they're not going to have, the work anymore. So they won't be able to work on farms anymore because they found a way to get Americans out there. Yeah, no, you're not getting paid because they said they're giving you Medicaid. So that's the plan. hmm Yeah, well, we'll see how this works out. I don't know. I just don't see this working out the way they think it will. You know, because remember their own people can't withstand the sun that much. There's already videos of them working the field and every single one of them got scorched by the sun. Every single one. If you go out and pull up the videos on TikTok of them working the fields, they are beet red when they get out there. And that's with sunscreen on. See, when that sun comes baking down on them, it doesn't matter if they got a whole bottle of sunscreen on. It don't matter. They still get burnt up out in that sun. So that's why I'm saying I don't know how this is going to work out. And a lot of them, don't let them ever tell you they're not on government assistance. A lot, in fact, they're the majority on those government assistant roles. So, yeah, so they would have to be out there according to Donald Trump's policy. I just don't know how they're going to be burnt to a crisp if they got to do those 80 hours. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting. Like I agree. Well, I wonder what the country's going to look like by the time we get to the end of this year because things are going so rapidly. It's not even funny. It is rapid, the changes that are going on. For real. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude, but I just wanted you to see this and wanted you to know what their plan is. It's going to be a trip up in here. So, y'all, please enjoy the rest of your day. And I might be coming back a little later with another live or at least a premiere. Shalom, family.